Hello traders, and welcome back to another trade alerts or trade ideas section. Usually we do these on Sunday, but I just got in from a short trip, so unfortunately I could not get it out yesterday. But I do want to take some time here on this Monday to take a look at some of the major markets that are currently moving around and seeing if we can find some trade ideas or some concepts to talk about, and at least give you guys my thoughts or things that I'm looking at this week. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We've got Euro USD here, which as we have been watching for some time, has been in an overall strong uptrend, right? We've seen a lot of bullishness on this pair. And now what we're seeing is we're seeing more of the kind of sideways consolidation mode with this major pair. Now, here's the thing. When a major market makes a huge move to the upside and then consolidates for a while, it can consolidate for a little bit longer than people expect. A lot of times people say, oh, well, it's going to go to the moon, it's going to go to the moon, and just expect it to keep going. But a lot of times it's very normal and even healthy for a market to kind of range or even pull back a little bit more to find fresh buyers. Now, I still have the same thesis that I've had for a while here on Euro USD. I don't think that has changed just yet. I don't see anything that has drastically changed my view on this pair, but basically I think that there's probably some room for a little bit of a pullback here back to a key level like what we talked about last week on the trade ideas, still talking about this 1.1416 level. Now, I want to say this, that, again, people, they comment, they say, oh, well, Nick, the Euro USD didn't go up or didn't go down like you said it would. And here, I'm not telling you what the future holds. I don't know where price action is going to take a market, but I do know that there is a lot of times the probabilities that we can look for that could give us some potential setups. So what I'm looking for here is some sort of sign of failure, some sort of sign of continuation, and I think there might even be some short-term trades to the sell side personally if we were to break something like this level. So if we were to start to see something like this, right? If we were to see that key break, looking for something like this intraday could actually be a decent setup looking for that rollover effect. Now, again, I don't know that that is what's going to happen, but that's something that I will be looking for, and that's kind of the purpose of these videos. So if that were to happen, then I would probably want to get out of the way of the bull at some point here and just kind of look to either take profits or look to hold on or scale out of my positions there if I were to kind of take a shorter term sell upon that break. So that's something to think about there on Euro USD. Again, longer term, the trend is still up. We still get a lot of bullishness here on Euro USD as we were in a long period of time where we were back and forth, almost like a year of just range bound market. And now we finally broken to the upside. So I do think that there is more upside potential. I think that in the short term, though, for those of us who are trading a little bit more actively, there might be some room for some come down here and maybe even a pullback to a key level like this before the longer term bulls could step back in and continue that overall trend back to the highs here. So that's Euro USD from me. Let's take a look at pound dollar really quick, see what we can find on this one. Okay, so pound dollar, we'll switch it to the daily chart as well. You can see is kind of in a consolidation zone as well, but it's kind of just doing its thing. It's just really doing some weird stuff right here. I mean, those are some really, really weird daily bars. What we had from pound dollar was basically a strong up day, strong down day, up day, down day, and now it looks like we're having an up day. So it's really kind of just back and forth. But price at some point here has to choose a direction, and I think that the best setups here, in my view, are waiting for this consolidation to kind of break. So this 4-day period is really interesting to me because if we take a look on the 4-hour chart, you can see it. You basically have this really big swing back and forth, back and forth. And I think that this level has some significance. So these two big barriers, right? This big, strong level of support where buyers just bounced off that thing really hard. And then on the counter side or on the other side of that, this big area of resistance where sellers are just pushing price right back down is going to be a really interesting play to watch for in my view, because if we were to see price break underneath that one, there's a similar trade to what we talked about in Euro USD. Now, fair enough, the same could happen on the bullish side, which also could lead to some further upside. But again, this big barrier, right, when you see big buyers stepping in at the lows and you see big sellers stepping in here at the highs, what that's telling me is that buyers and sellers are not sure, they're not decisive which way the market is likely to go. So they're back and forth until one of them wins that fight. Now, when they win that fight, that's what we usually would call a breakout, where price breaks out of that range as one takes over or beats the other. So that is what I will be looking for closely on GBP USD this week. Again, back to the daily chart. If we were, for example, to see a big enough pullback, if for example, the sellers were able to roll over this market, then what I would say is that it's probably due to come down to some key support structure like this level here. We've talked about this one before. This level is the 1.2732 mark. Okay, so that's just based off of some key support structure here. And it's a nice, just about 50% of the move here. So if we were to take a Fibonacci, it would probably be right around the 50% level, right around here. I'm gonna say just shy of that 50% level. So this area, right, this zone here is an interesting one to me as a potential pullback, similar to what we talked about with Euro USD. We've had a lot of uptrend on this market. We've seen a lot of strength as pound dollar continues to rally higher on a weak US dollar. However, at some point, I think that it's probably fair to assume that we're going to get some sort of pullback. Now, again, that's never a guarantee. Markets can do crazy things. I just think that that is probably what is going to happen. We'll just see if that plays out. Let's go to S&P 500 because I think this one is really, really interesting. If you guys watch the indices, then this is going to be a big deal to you. So this all-time high right here, this is the all-time high, and we just broke above it. And it looks like today we could be even closing above it, which is a big deal because if we close above all-time highs, that basically says, okay, we've pretty much recovered from the pandemic, which is a very, very aggressive statement, though the charts are saying that, you know, things are bullish. Honestly, it's hard to get around the fact that we've just continuously seen these higher lows and we've seen this nice strength to the upside. And now with that key break above previous highs, that is a really big deal. That is a very bullish indication. So if we bring it down to the 4-hour chart, you can actually see this going on. We've just got this kind of really nice uptrend where we just keep seeing buyers stepping in, pushing price higher. And right around here, we broke past those highs, right? We just pointed out that high on the daily chart. And there we go. We're breaking above and staying above for the time being on this 4-hour chart, which is pretty significant to me. And to me, could even mean that, let's go back to the daily chart for a second. If we get something like this, right? If we get something where we basically stay above, we get something like this, nice little push overall, you know, looking for the pullback, I'd say now we've got the conviction to keep going higher, which is, you know, that's just something where as a trader, I've thought that we'd have some sort of correction like many other traders, some sort of deeper pullback, but that's just not what the markets wanted to do, right? The trend started going down and it just decided on a dime to go back the other direction. Now, I want to say carefully this because, you know, I bought stocks right around here. So I did buy into this dip, but I did think on the shorter term, we would see some sort of dip. So on the long-term investment side, I did pretty okay. On the short term, I did not see this, you know, playing out this way, but that is what it is. So it's okay to be wrong. You don't have to be right all the time as a trader, which is kind of nice because it's kind of like you don't have to get an A+ on every single test. You just have to, you know, in trading, you really only have to get like a C, which is kind of nice. You just have to get a passing grade. So with that said, I think that that's all the trade ideas I want to talk about today. I guess we could take a quick look at gold. Gold still trending up very strongly. I do like the fact that we are holding all these 3 moving averages. This is the 200, the 50, and the 20. All of them are still bullish, still above each other in order, which is usually a bullish signal, or at least it's a sign of strength, right? A lot of people don't love moving averages, but to me, they're just a basic indication of market strength. And so we do still see a lot of strength on the gold market rally. And people say, oh, well, you know, just because it moves up doesn't mean it keeps going. And that's absolutely true. But there are times where we see these runaway trains where they do kind of all line up and they just keep running and running and running. So looking for them is something to consider, right? Here's an example where all 3 of them are in line and we see that downtrend, very, very strong move downward. So just stuff to think about there, guys. I hope that you got something out of this video. Do me a favor, if you liked it, please share a thumbs up down below and comment your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day and we will see you back in the next video.